is Deval Sangvi, and I work with an organization called Dasra.
Oh, nice. So if you don't mind, just explain to me, you're the CEO of this organization, yes?
Right.
Very impressive. Tell me the story, maybe the narrative behind why you decided to start this organization and what it represents in this community.
Sure. So before starting Dasra, I used to work at Morgan Stanley in New York, and in investment banking, I guess, realized that many of the systems and processes used to find good organizations, vet management teams, provide these companies with not just growth capital, but also managerial support, enabling them to create greater return on investment, could be translated to the social sector and help accelerate growth of social businesses here in India.
Wow, that is, so you started in the corporate world, now you're totally on the other side of the world and the other side of the sector.
Yes.
Okay, very impressive. So have you seen those, I guess, translate well, those ideas?
Definitely. I mean, I think when you work in any sector, and I use the sector not nonprofit or for-profit, but sectors in terms of like telecom or media or large industrialist companies, I think you have to understand the sector and the sector dynamics. So I think there was not necessarily a clear transfer of 100% of what we did in banking versus what we do here at Dasra. But I think once you understand the development sector and how most of these organizations we're supporting are actually creating markets, therefore you have to be patient with their growth. They may lack certain skills which you find readily available in the corporate sector. I think with that in mind, providing the managerial support at times is actually more relevant because this type of support and services are just not available, and growth capital as a whole has been a missing link in the development sector to begin with. So I think not only have certain skills been transferable, but more importantly, I would say certain of these sort of mindsets or thought processes of coupling managerial support and funding is actually more needed, I would say, in the development sector than even the developed sector.
DARSA is a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
And so the whole idea behind this is to maximize and optimize these businesses or nonprofits that you think are doing good in this area or beyond this area, correct? So how exactly do you go about, so you work with Ms. Warrior at the beginning stages of, and she has proven to be very, very successful thus far. Do you mind explaining, I guess, a story of another social business, maybe like the Hub or India Unlimited, that has proven, I guess, beneficial to this area or successful?
Sure. I think a good example of this is an organization called Sabras, which is based in Gujarat. And they were formed as a producer cooperative for salt pan workers in 1977. The founder of the organization, Rajesh Shah, actually was providing support to these families who spend most of the year outside of their homes in the desert, working with very little protective gear, canning salt. It's a very hard career to have. It's a nomadic career, and individuals who actually are canning the salt make less than 1% of the margin of when salt is sold to the market. So Rajesh Bhai is an interesting individual who actually had an NGO providing education and health support to the salt pan workers and their families, but realized in order to create greater impact, if there was a way he could actually increase the livelihood opportunities and, more importantly, the profit share of these salt pan workers, then they themselves will have a more sustainable career at hand. We met Rajesh Bhai 4 years ago and were just amazed by the amount of work he was able to accomplish, and more importantly, the connection and relationship he had with the salt pan workers. Conditions, unfortunately, are so bad where in India, where it's common to cremate bodies, most of the salt pan workers have absorbed so much salt throughout the years their bodies don't even burn. So the health ramifications and just the humanity of it was so appalling that we had to sort of step in and see how we can help this individual with an existing cooperative, but really figure out if there's ways that he can bring in more profits to the individuals who are actually doing most of the work, which are these workers. So I think the first step in working with Rajesh Bhai was really just understanding his model and seeing if there are ways of us to decrease the cost and thereby increasing the income of the individuals he was trying to support. Number two, although Rajesh Bhai started this in 1977 as an established entrepreneur, he had never gone through an MBA program or even had time to spend away from his organization to think strategically about the operations of Subways. Therefore, we enrolled him into an executive education program that we run called Thus for Social Impact, where over the course of 9 months, he spent time with 30 other entrepreneurs from various walks of life, half for-profit and half non-profit, and actually thought about his model, how he could scale it up, and what were his requirements to scale. We matched him up with mentors from the professional, sort of corporate sector, individuals from the private equity space who actually helped him think strategically about his model. And at the end of the year, he also got voted by his peers to win $75,000 worth of equity, which enabled him to A, bring in the first commercial capital he's ever received, and B, actually invest in the solar pumps that we spoke about, decreasing the recurring cost of the salt plant workers directly.
Wow, so today is he, 4 years, that was 4 years ago. Today
where he stands, he's increased his salt production by 10x.
Whoa!
We are in conversations with some large retail outlets in India to see if we can actually sell branded salt, thereby once again taking out the middleman and ensuring more profits stay with these individuals. And we're also helping him right now get debt funding because they need revolving funds to actually pay for the marketing of the product and the distribution of the product. So we're helping him on those terms as well.
Wow, that is extremely impressive. So you guys made a pivotal role in, changing this industry, at least his, small niche of the industry, and improving the lives of what could be hundreds of people.
I would say hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of people. That gives me goosebumps. So as a whole, can you give me, some numbers on the impact that Darsa has made as a whole?
Sure. So as you stated earlier, we work with both nonprofit organizations and social businesses. So till date, we've worked with close to 300 organizations. We've been providing them funding and hands-on support, enabling them to scale. And when we talk about scale, it's not just the increase of outreach, but it also is the improvement or the depth of the program, transfer of ownership of the program to the communities that they're serving, thereby making it sustainable, as well as financial and organizational sustainability. So in our efforts, we've helped deploy close to $10 million worth of funding to these organizations and provided them the much-needed hand-holding support both pre- and post-investment, enabling them to achieve their goals and visions. From this group, 50 have been social businesses, and the amount of capital we have brought into those are probably close to $2 to $3 million. Sorry, I don't have the exact numbers. But examples include Husk Power, which came into our program 2 years ago and now is one of the leading electricity providers using rice husks in the country. And we were instrumental. Again, they came through our Thus for Social Impact program, and post our program, they were instrumental in getting close to $2 million worth of funding in equity and debt in partnering up with very established social venture funds, including Bamboo Finance, LGT Venture Philanthropy, Acumen Fund, and the Draper Richards Foundation. So this is just an example, I guess, of the type of organizations we've come and helped. And really our goal has been social impact and how do you increase that social impact with these organizations, realizing that money alone is not the answer, but providing this hands-on support can really help.
It's videoing. Just point. Don't press anything. Look.
I don't put anything.
So this is banana.
Yeah.
Look, wait, look at me. This is a banana, and I'm gonna feed it. I'm gonna take a bite, and then I'm gonna give it to the monkey. Ready?
Yeah. I'm giving to him. नहीं फोटो नहीं खींचेगा
Wait.
अब बताएंगे
Here you go.
throw take care oi
Will you catch it?
yeah you're giving to him you catch
That was awesome. Thank you. I just fed a monkey a banana.